Okay, today I'm going to talk about my new chicken coops, which are perfectly movable, house 10 hens, you don't have to clean them out, and you can build them for under 120 quid. Okay, I've kept chickens in lots of different ways in the past. I've made lots of different coops and arks and all different ways of keeping them. So the kind of one I kind of ended up with over the years, wade my way through the nettles, is this kind of raised up coop design. So you have a nest box on the back, pop hole on the front, the rain just runs off, single slope roof, and this is where the chickens were before. You can see I've planted it up with lots of different things. And this works really well. The rats can't get into the coop very easily, or pests can't build homes underneath. The trouble is that you end up fencing it either with Harris, these big Harris panels here, or with kind of these wooden panels. I've used these before now. You do need to clip wings with this. Or I've used the electric netting, and I've had a permanent pen up by the house for a long time as well. The trouble is you end up not moving them as often as you should because it's a pain to move them. And I'd love to be diligent and say I move them as often as I'd like to, but it doesn't happen. So my idea was to build a pen that was cheap, easy to move, and didn't need much cleaning out. I'm not great at cleaning stuff out, so I wanted one that was really simple and easy to clean out. So what I've created is a pen that you can build for about £120 if you had to buy every single thing. I've got the Harris panels anyway. It takes about an afternoon to make, to knock up and put together. And I did these with my kids, so it shows how easy it is to make them. And I wanted it so I didn't have to clean it out. And what I've done here, I think we get a lot of red mite problems in this country, and a lot of it's due to how coops are built, because it tends to be amateurs and small flocks that get the red mites. So you can see there's no bottom to this coop, and the actual sides, the waterproof area, is made up with a UV sensitive tarp, which goes over the top, and that keeps the rain off. Easy to replace if I need to, but also there's nowhere for the red mites to hide, so that's a really key point to it. The other thing I've got in here is some really cheap and easy nest boxes, so you can see those. There's 3 nest boxes in here. They are just made out of some builder's buckets with one bit cut off them on a slope with a grinder, and then the bit that I cut off, I put a cable tie through, and I've got one there as like a scraps feeder, garden scraps I should say, and then one over there for some grit. So I've made this, it's also predator proof. That was another key point of it. I don't want to shut them in at night if I don't have to. So the idea behind these mesh panels here that lift up to be able to move it, but the animal comes up to this point here to try to dig, the fox or the badger or whatever, and it can't. So, and it doesn't think to come back here, so the chickens get away with it. So that's the idea behind it. And I've had birds in these for over a month now. I wanted to make sure it was kind of usable before I put it on YouTube, and it seems to be. So it's really easy to move. You literally just lift up the panels. I lift all these up there, bear with me. I've just got cable ties to hold the mesh back as I move it. And then to move it, all I do is use this old sack truck. The wheel is falling off of. No. Literally just slide it into like that, lift it up, make sure the chickens are at the back, and just pull it to where you want. And it's really easy to move. I'm not going to move it now because I like them to leave their droppings overnight and move them onto fresh grass in the morning, and that's the way I think it works best. When you're done, just flop all the panels down, take pears off the tree as you do it, and it's predator proof again. I'm feeding them now with these spring feeders that I use for pheasants, just in a bucket. I can weigh easily how much they have in each day if I want to, and no food's left out overnight because they eat what they peck out, so there's no trouble of rats or mice, things like that. Water's in this bucket here, just on the little, I don't know if you can see the little red feeder there. As they peck it, more water comes out, so it keeps the water really nice and fresh as well. And The perches are just cable tied, if you can see the perches in there, just cable tied to the Harris panels. So the droppings just fall straight on the floor and they move it. I think we kind of mother our chickens a bit too much. The cold and the hot doesn't kill chickens. It's kind of condensation and their breath and being in confined spaces that really does it. So having them well vented is really essential. If they're cold, they're huddled together more. What I might do in winter, if this does prove to be quite cold or it's a cold winter, I might add a baffle on this end here so that it kind of acts as more as a coop. But I don't think I'll fence in the bottom. I think to keep them moving like that would be really beneficial. And to keep the poo away from them is also really beneficial as well. So it gets moved 11 foot each day. And yeah, I think it's a really good, simple, cheap way to keep chickens in a kind of orchard situation or pastured birds where you're moving them. I've got 2 of these at the moment for egg layers. And I've got 1 set up. I'm going to do some meat birds later in August and move them every day. They're probably in the field, so they've got a bit more space. They might get moved twice a day because they're probably going to be a bit heavier stocked than these 10 birds in here. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a really effective method. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video of how I made them. I'm also going to put plans up on my blog as well, all for free. I just want people to kind of be able to build cheap coops and be able to keep chickens in a really environmentally friendly way. And yeah, so if you like these plans, please share it with your friends, click the thumbs up, leave a comment and pop over to the blog and yeah, just let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye.